we had some breaking news this afternoon, and we wanted to kind of get to this before we dive more deeply into some other news stories today. So, well, I guess you probably saw what happened in the UK. Well, the UK has a new prime minister this afternoon, Liz Truss, who is ready to drive Britain right into the ground with more sanctions on Russia. Like, if you think, oh, maybe this will be a breath of fresh air, right? I love when people are like, hey, we're going to get a woman in there. Then she'll keep us out of wars. It's like people forget about Madeleine Albright and Condoleezza Rice and Hillary Clinton and Angela Merkel and all of these other people, right? So Liz Truss, remember, she's now prime minister. She'll take over officially full day tomorrow. She's the woman who said she's prepared to use nuclear weapons against Russia.
When I ask you, would you press the button, you will say yes. But faced with that task, I would feel physically sick. How does that thought make you feel?
I think it's an important duty of the Prime Minister. I'm ready to do that.
Who is applauding nuclear?
All those people are like, yeah, you're going to blow us all up? Great. This is great.
Do they understand the question?
I know, right?
Like that just seems like something went over their heads.
I mean, I get the idea of like the stiff upper lip kind of stuff.
Yeah,
right? Like the
sure.
British stiff upper lip. Like we'll take it to them anywhere. We're never going to give up, Winston Churchill. But yeah, I'm prepared to do that. Yeah, I wouldn't even think about it. I'll have a tea and some biscuits and I'll just blow up the whole world. I'm fine with that.
Your English tropes, honey, are right on point.
Well, I mean, look, her outgoing guy who selected her, Boris Johnson, last week in his farewell address made a whole point about talking about tea kettles.
But, he makes point because Americans are woefully behind on the electric tea kettle trend. We don't use them, and we need to because they're amazing.
I do.
Okay, sorry. You have one?
I do.
Yep.
I have one too.
I have.
But his
lot.
point to like save civilization, you're missing the point.
Yes.
Was like, hey, if you've got an outdated old tea kettle, it's burning up a little bit more energy. I know it's going to cost you 20 pounds to go buy a new one.
Right.
But hey, just go buy that new one because it'll save you money in the long run. I mean, this afternoon we found out. Take my laptop here, Philip. The Wall Street Journal. The British pound falls to its lowest level since 1985. As the UK economic pain mounts. So that's what she's coming into. Lowest since 1985. So go buy your tea kettle. Yeah. It's going to cost you twice as much as it normally would. So she doubled down today. She was asked about these sanctions. One of the first things she came out to sort of show how strong she is, following right in the footsteps of Boris Johnson, of course, who's talked Vladimir Zelensky out of peace talks in Ukraine. She doubled down on sanctions, saying that she's ready to go even harder against Russian sanctions to make sure that Russia suffers. Here's what she said, citing to the Telegraph today. Russia's aggression cannot be appeased. It must be met with strength. We must not allow a prolonged and increasingly painful conflict to develop in Ukraine, she says. Perhaps totally unaware of the massive suffering that's happening right now in the UK and throughout Europe, by the way, right? I mean, of course, to these Russian sanctions. Here was her plan. She was asked a few weeks ago, like, what is your plan for the UK to get out of this quagmire? How can we move and grow? And here's what she said.
And what I've been campaigning on is unleashing opportunity across this country. I want to get rid of all EU laws on our statute book by end of 2023 to unleash more investment, get investment into our businesses, whether it's manufacturing industry across the country, whether it's our technology industry. And ultimately, I want a high wage, high growth economy.
That's what she said on the economy, which is that she's going to create growth and investment here in the UK. Well, how are you going to do that when you're literally driving your economy into the ground?
Right. Who's going to make those investments other than the government that would be printing its own money, right? If everyone else is cash strapped with a plunging currency.
So this afternoon, Putin warning of catastrophic energy crisis in the West, shutting off Nord Stream 1. Here's what he said. Putin warns of catastrophic energy crisis if West boosts sanctions. Said that Western countries risk inflicting more harm on themselves. He said the Western powers stood to inflict more harm on themselves as they wrestle with rising inflation and a growing cost of living. He said, quote, all this reveals All this reveals once again that sanctions on Russia end up causing much more harm to those countries that impose them.
I mean, how long do we have to suffer this? How much longer? It's absolutely outrageous.
No, they're going to continue to do this. And here was the Sun today. Here, take a look at this. This is the Sun newspaper did this breakdown. Look at this. Just keep this up on the screen for a minute here. So you've got the UK on the left, the price of food up 10.5%. Potatoes up 18%, bananas up 12%, cabbage 10%, tomatoes up 15%, carrots 16%, energy bills, look at that, up 80%. Russia on the other side, food down, potatoes down, bananas down, cabbage down, tomatoes down, carrots down, energy bills up 10%. So who's doing better right now?
I can vouch for that too. I generally pay right around $100 a month for my utilities. This month it was over $300 and I have not done anything different. And I was like, whoa, when I saw the bill.
What service do you have? Do you have like gas or?
Yeah, I have gas, electric, water, and trash.
Wow.
That is.
So
I mean, it's outrageous. I'm just wondering how some of you in the chat are thinking about how you're going to pay your energy bills this winter, because it seems to be a doozy and it's not going to get easier on any of us.
Yeah, let us know if you're in the UK. Like, what are you guys dealing with? And are you excited about your new prime minister? Let us know.